Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my TBR to be read for the month of January. If you're new to my channel, my name is Tiffany and I'm the Happy Homeschooler. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm going to go through that list right now, show you all the books that I'm going to be reading. Some of these are the books I'm reading for school. Some of the books are the books that I'm reading to pre-read for my kids to see if they're allowed to read them. And I'm going to be giving you guys a review of the books I read so that you know if it's something you want your kids to read, because I know as a busy parent, pre-reading books has not always happened for me, but I've basically committed to pre-reading these books. Some of the authors that I know and trust, I can just throw at him and he's good to go, but when we're trying out new authors, I need to read those books and make sure they're okay for him. So I'm going to let you guys know what I think, and I'm going to show you that list right now. I'm going to start with the books that are from Sunlight that I'm going to be reading, starting with my oldest to youngest, so you can see those. So the very first book that I'm going to be reading is Mary Jones and Her Bible. This is the 7th grade book. It goes along with the Sunlight Curriculum Core H, a young girl's exciting quest for the greatest treasure of all. So I'm very excited to read this. I believe it's based on a true story. Yep. Incredible true story of a little Welsh girl named Mary Jones. So we'll be reading this book. I'm looking forward to it. The other book that I'm going to be reading with my 7th grader is Only the Names Remain. The Cherokee Trail of Tears. If this is your first time joining me, you don't know, but my husband is part Native American, and so anything related to Native American history is not only relevant to me, but a little bit, I would say maybe a tearjerker. It's hard for me to read sometimes. So when we're going through Only the Names Remain, from 1837 to 1838, thousands of Cherokee Indians were marched from their homelands in Georgia to exile in Arkansas by the same white men they had once befriended. So I already know this is going to be a difficult but important read, and I'm really looking forward to going through it with my 7th grader. The book that I'm going to be reading with my 3rd grader is Johnny Tremaine. So it's a really good story about a 14-year-old boy who's apprenticed to a blacksmith, and he has an injury and life happens. The next book I'm reading in January is The Year of Miss Agnes, another favorite book of mine, about a school teacher who comes to Alaska and starts teaching the children, and it's their first school teacher who really connects to them and really teaches them anything. And a lot of the kids are really illiterate, they can't read. I don't want to give any spoilers. It's a really good book, and she makes teaching fun. And because I am a homeschooler and I love homeschooling and I love teaching and I want my kids to have fun, this book really resonated with me. The next book that I have the joy of reading out loud to my 5-year-old, my kindergartner, is Winnie the Pooh. And I've read this book out loud a number of times, but I think the characters are so timeless that you can just reread this. He's already heard these books. I read them to him when he was 3 and 4, but he's excited still to be listening to it again. Okay, and then here are the books that I'm reading for my kids that I'm pre-reading for them to make sure that they're good. Let me know if that would be beneficial to you guys, if you'd like to see more reviews of books for your middle graders, and then if you have certain genres or certain types of books, certain authors that you're my kid wants to read this author, what do you think? Post it in the comments below and let me know, because I'm definitely on the lookout right now. I'm on the hunt for good books. I've been hitting up Goodwill and finding lots of new authors. I really love young adult books, but I don't feel like they're always appropriate for anybody below 15. So I'm reading right now Cinder, and I'm going to let you guys know what I think, if that is an appropriate book for your 11, 12-year-old, 13-year-olds. 11, 12, 13-year-olds, yeah. Okay, The Tale of Emily Windsnap, and I have not read this, but I have not read anything by this author, and I have not read any of these books. So I'm going to be starting this, and it's about a mermaid because my daughter loves mermaids. So I saw this at Goodwill. I thought, shoot, I'll try it out, see if it's any good, and I'll let you guys know what I think. I'm going to read it on my own, and then if it's appropriate, I will pass it on to my daughter, and then we'll maybe try out the rest of the series. This book I have already read and I loved, Brennan's Crossing, but I'm rereading it just to get a refresher to make sure there's no underlying things that I don't want my kids to hear or anything like that. I cannot remember exactly what was in it as far as like content. I remember the story because that's what sticks clearly in my mind. And the last book that I'll be reading this month, which I'm really excited about, is Six of Crows. Now, I know this book came out years ago, but I found myself newly intrigued and I decided I really wanted to read it. So I'm going to read it, and then if I feel it's appropriate, I'll be passing it down. But I'll let you guys know my thoughts because I'm going to be reading a lot of young adult and middle grade and just general kids fiction to see what's out there and what authors I think are doing a great job. There's a lot of classic authors that I know and love and trust, but a lot of the new ones I don't know as well. So I like Rick Riordan. I can't even think of another one that I like really, that's like new, that I feel okay letting my kids read without pre-reading. So I'm trying to change that and give you guys a lot of good ideas for books that your kids can read, that you can just like let them go and read their books and they can read the whole series or all the ones by that author. That is my goal, especially because I love that my kids want to read and I want to encourage it, but I don't always like know what to let them read beyond like the Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew or C.S. Lewis. And they've read those. So I want to expand the horizons and try out some new books, and I'm going to let you guys know how that goes. Yeah, so I hope this video is helpful. I'm excited to share these books with you at the end of January when I've read them all and tell you guys my thoughts. Okay, and I'll see you guys on the next video.